clear membrane, right? And then the cecum is the big fatty. Okay? And then the colon is the same. The colon and large intestine are the same thing. It's just two different names. So when somebody talks about the colon, it's the large intestine. In humans, the reason we call it the large intestine is not because it's longer, because in fact it's quite a bit shorter, but because it's wider. So large is the width. This is wider than the small intestine, which is skinny. But the small intestine is much longer than the large intestine. Okay? Liver. So this guy underneath the diaphragm, this big like hard thing, is the liver. And the liver has 4 lobes. And to count the lobes of the liver, what I recommend you do is go all the way up to the back on the right side. So this is the right lateral lobe. This is the right medial lobe. Left medial lobe. Left lateral lobe. Yeah, so they go like that. Okay? On the liver, you have somewhere, it's usually on the right medial lobe, the gallbladder. So do you see this little, it's like a little pouch. It's kind of greenish. I know you can't see it higher, but we'll make sure you see it at some point. Right? So that little green pouchy thing is the gallbladder. It's often underneath that lobe, but not always. Okay? Sometimes it's on the top of the liver, sometimes it's in kind of weird places. But that's the gallbladder, right? So one of the many functions of the liver is that it makes bile, and the bile gets stored in the gallbladder. Okay, so it's going to be here in the liver. Pancreas. The pancreas is really hard to find. The pancreas is, as you know, a very important organ because it has both digestive and endocrine functions. And it's kind of, in humans, it's like underneath our stomach. I just stuck my finger in the stomach. I don't know. It's kind of underneath our stomach. And it's there in the rabbit too, but it's hard to see. Sometimes it's easier to see it kind of, wait, here we go. So what am I holding? Can you tell what I'm holding? Duodenum. So I'm holding the duodenum, yeah? So if you kind of look right in here, I don't know if you can see the light kind of shining through there. There's this kind of glandular appearance to this stuff right there. A little bit of it there, that's kind of glandular and bumpy and brown, right? That's pancreas, right? So next to the duodenum or kind of under the stomach, any of this kind of brown glandular looking stuff, right? Here's some of it right there, is the pancreas. It's not super easy to see in rabbits though, honestly, okay? The spleen is pretty easy to see. So you see this little guy right here? So they're not always going to be red. What's that red from? How did that happen? Right, that's the latex. So remember how they put latex in the arteries and veins? Right, they cut them open in the neck. So it's just some of the latex that leaked out. So this is the spleen right here. So the spleen is kind of like a little pinky, whereas the appendix is like a big weird finger. Where the appendix over there. Okay? Spleen. All right. Appendix we already did. Okay, so what serous cavity am I in now? I'm in the peritoneal cavity, yes. Okay, so where is the visceral peritoneum going to be?
Inside the cavity.
On the surface of the organ. So the shiny membrane on the surface of all of these is the visceral peritoneum. How about the parietal peritoneum?
On the outside, the skin is
up against the body wall, yeah? So that thin, shiny layer that I'm lifting up, parietal peritoneum. Okay. All right, so that's digestive system. Let's look at we already did respiratory, let's do urinary. So I'm gonna just kind of flip his guts over to the side. Kidneys are weird because kidneys are retroperitoneal. So what do you think that means, retroperitoneal? What does retro mean?
oh,
Behind, right? So back in the day, behind, okay? So retroperitoneal means behind the peritoneum, right? And so kidneys, unlike the rest of these organs, which are all in the middle of the peritoneal cavity, the kidney is behind the parietal peritoneum, right? And so in order to get to look at the kidney, I got to break through the peritoneum, right? It's real easy. It's real thin, right? It breaks real easily. I did, yes. It breaks really easy. Okay, so you kind of peel it back. There's a bunch of fat here, and that fat is there to protect the kidney because the kidney, think about where it's located, right? It's right here. There's no ribs protecting it. It's up against the back of the body wall. So it's in kind of a vulnerable spot. So it often has a good wad of fat around it to kind of cushion it and protect it. And then, don't worry, it's not going to fall out because it's attached, right? And so, what is it attached by? Well, hey, look, there's a couple blood vessels here, and they are called the renal artery and vein, because renal means kidney. So this is the renal artery and vein. We'll talk more about those again later. And then, oh, this little white tube carries urine from the kidney down to the urinary bladder. So this is called the ureter. So this right here escaped out of his intestines. Oh, that's gross. Right? He had some sort of rupture. Okay, so this little white tube, right, is a ureter. This is the urinary bladder. So this little tube, if I kind of pull on it gently, you can see where it attaches, yeah? Right, it goes, it attaches to the urinary bladder, right? So each kidney, here's the other kidney, I'm not going to clean it off, but it has its own ureter that goes down to the urinary bladder. So that's the urinary bladder, okay? And then the urinary bladder is a big bladder. We're such a small rabbit, right? And then the urinary bladder, if you kind of pull on it, it goes down into the urethra, okay? All right? So that's all for today. All right? So now